YouTube friends, it's Victoria from Victoria Makes. Today I want to show you some fabric covered notepads and journals that I've made and how easy it is. I'm going to show you what you need to get and suggest things that you can do with your journals. You need to look for cheap notepads if you can in pound shops or different stores, home bargains, anywhere that you range. Anything that's like cheap that you can use, which is a good size for you. It could be sort of artist notepads or lined notepads, a diary, anything like that. Same principle will work. Now what I've done, I'll show you what I've actually made. So these were notepads I got from the card factory. I think they were about £1.30, £1.50, something like that. And they were just plain notepads with a hard cover and like a plastic cover that they fitted into. So I took those out. And what I did is I chose some nice fabric using PVA glue. All I did was cut fabric to about 2 centimetre parameter all the way around. So I folded it out flat and used it as a template, cut the fabric out all the way around, larger than this book, leaving about 1.5 centimetres to 2 centimetres, however much you want as your border. Okay, then I actually got the book and I used PVA glue and I lightly, with a paintbrush, painted on the PVA glue and stuck this onto the fabric, making sure that I really was very careful to flatten out any amount of air bubbles, extra glue, etc. until it was all flat. Then when I went to the inside edges, this was the first cover. So underneath here, I stuck all the edges down, cutting at the corners and folding them in neatly. When that was stuck down, I left it overnight. I then stuck the inside of this to this page, stuck it down and let it dry. Repeated that with that. And I would actually recommend you get some pegs or something like that to peg it in. When it was all complete dry like this, I found some nice bubbles and I just basically stuck all these bubbles along with a glue gun on the edge to give it a little bit extra. And I also got the ribbon and stuck a little bit of flower on the end so that it's easy to grab. And that one is one of my notebooks. Now I love a notebook. I love jotting things down. I have a notebook for different things. You can either jot all your ideas in one notebook or what, but I've done all of these a bit different with different fabrics. So the principle is just the same, you know, and you can use up all old fabric. I've stuck that down inside to give it a little bit of an extra design, nothing there. I've not put anything on the bottom of the ribbon there, just kept that plain. So it's so easy, really easy. You just want some PVA glue, some fabric, and some notebooks. So go and have a little look for your fabric. This one was an old bed sheet, okay, and I cut it up, stuck it on, put the pegs around the edge to keep it in place, okay, and then a bit of a rick-rack on the side. So you can use the fabric of your choice, make it however you want it to fit. And this one was a hardback book. These are like paperback, of course, that I bought. But this one was like a hardback book that I got, and I've used different fabric. These were fabric samples I got, and so this is a fabric sample and this is a fabric sample. So I stuck them down and only on the edge because I cut it a little bit shorter because the fabric sample wasn't as big as this book, but that's okay. Alright, so that's your book inside. And then I've used this lovely like ribbon and I've stuck it down all the way around the perimeter so it looks nice and neat. So you're personalising everything, you know, so it's not the same as anything you just bought in the shop. And it's so easy. And I've made journals as well. Now journals, you start off with an old book, okay? Now these old books, you can just pick them up for free or you can pick them from the charity shops. If you've read an old book, obviously if it's a classic, don't do it, you know. But this one's marked and didn't really like it. So I'm going to use that one at a future time. But all these I've used out of book. So you pull off, let me show you. So you've got your book, haven't you? Alright, so you open your book up. If you open your book up like that, you'll see that the cover comes off from this part that's binding all the papers together. Can you see? And what you need to do with a very sharp knife is you need to take this, I always say the first 2 pages apart, and then you want to carefully peel or tear, or with a Stanley knife, try and get all that book off the spine, and do it really slowly so you don't spoil your spine. Can you see it coming away as I pull? Do it very carefully because you don't want to damage it. Okay, now when you've done it, you will end up with that, and you'll end up with your spine intact. Now when I did this one, the spine was damaged, and so I didn't have that, but that's fine because you're going to use all of this to actually get your strings attached to the central part of your journal. So for example, you'll see that this was a hard book originally, and what you do is, in that original spine part there, that's where you will put all your strings to hold your new papers in. Can you see? So this one is a series. This is a bit different from some others. What I've done is I've put different note booklets in on the strings through the spine and strung them up, so then this becomes a whole booklet. Now this one's a bit more unique, because as I say, I've been making these quite a while now. This is your basic one. So this is the second one I made, and so basically I got that spine, if you can see, and then with lots of paper, computer paper that I used, A4, fold them in half, and then in the middle of each section put a string in and tie it, okay, across. Now you can do that either inside this area if you've still got that central part. So you know where we've just pulled that away, and I've shown you, you're getting this central part, aren't you, here? So what you can do is you can run the string through from there through this bit, so there won't be any string on this out cover if you've got those 2 remaining. But if you haven't got 2 part portions like this, then you'll have to run your string on the outside edge, but that's fine because you make it decorative, and then you can actually cover that extra, all that extra string with something on a later stage, so it won't be seen ultimately. Alright, so you get a series of little chapters or booklets that will fit in, and each one is tied up in the middle section, okay, and the strings running all through from the middle on the outer edge on this one. So they're really easy to do, and it's lovely because you can personalise them. So this one is my vacation journal, and basically each year we go to Devon and Cornwall for our holidays, have done for nearly 30 years, and I take this with me. As I say, I only made it I think last year, and I start putting nice little pictures in. I do some drawings of boats, and I take images of different things. I've made sort of fabric interpretations of the sea. I'm using mixed media in this. Loads of different pages. Start painting while I'm at the seaside, you know, the coastline. And I take this with me with my paints and my charcoals and my paint patterns, and start basically filling it in when I go to the seaside in different things, you know, whatever takes my fancy. That's a picture of St Ives, and I've started painting it. So it's nice just to sit by the beach, take some time out, put things in, you know, make things and collect stuff. So as I say, that's my ongoing sea themed one. There's bits of like notes and things like that, and there's fabric, and so that's for my journal for my holidays. And then this one's a new one. This is going to be my journal for writing my thoughts down and personal things. I'm going to start doing text writing and, you know, just general writing about life and what is happening in my life, like a diary. This one I've just sort of, I did this last year. It was all about my love of flowers, so I covered it all in fabric that I got, and there's been some beads but they've come off, but upgrade it. And I've just literally put loads of different sort of designs in here and envelopes. You can see that this was part of the book. This is chapter 1, and I've put images of stuff in that I like. And there's not much in here. You know, you might think, well, what is it? It's for me to keep adding things to. And that's the thing at the journal, it's your own personal interpretation of whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to put in inspirational things, you know. So this one, they're all work in progress, alright? So it's not like I'm going to show you something that's perfect, that I'm going to sell. You know, some people make these journals for selling. This one was the first one I did. So, as I say, I did it like this. I got all my strings on the outside. Then I put wallpaper samples on the edge. I put thank you because it's my appreciation journal as well. And then I've covered it with some vintage fabric to hide all those strings. And then I just started putting stuff in, you know, making it more like a journal with bits and bobs in. So like envelopes where you can put things in that you want to bring out and pick up at a later stage. And then we've got lots of nice pictures, ideas for recipes, funny cards and letters that someone sent me. I've done some bit of collaging in there as well, and painting, and some dried flower pressing, some pretty spring flowers that I picked last year. Different paint effects. This was inspired by a cow, so the cow's there with the paint splashes on, a bit like markings of animals. That to remind me of the bluebell walk that we did. And these are all different things that, you know, types of marks on the paper to make it a little bit different. This was an old mixed media picture that I had in here and I've actually pulled out. And just cards and things that people have sent me. Nice little notes that someone have wrote when I've met up with them. So nice thoughts about things. Nice sort of images. So, you know, it's what you want to do with it. There's no, it's got to be like this, it's got to be like that, you know. You just make them how you want them. There's loads of ideas online how to make journals, but fabric books, fabric journals can be personable. It's all about the making of it as well, not actually how it is. You know, this is like a painting that I'm working on, some flowers in a vase that I'm trying to do presently. So, you know, it's just something that you can do and keep coming back to. It doesn't have to be a designer piece, you know. These are all little snippets from books and ideas. So that's one of my journals as well. So they're all different, aren't they? This is another mixed media piece of artwork I was working on. Little envelopes with things stuck in behind. Bits of paper made into little pockets. Bookmark. Nice feeling to some of the papers that I've covered, you know, in tea and coffee. Sort of change the appearance of the paper. There's different things that you can do to paper, you know, makes it softer. So yeah, so that's another one. as well. Envelopes for notes. So, you know, it's all about easily making journals or fabric covered books with paper or fabric so that you can jot things down. Yes, you can buy them, but where's the fun of that when you can make them yourself and personalise them and create them to be the design that you want to be. This is a book about all places that I'd like to visit in the future and where to go, etc. So I hope that's inspired you to have a go at making a fabric covered notepad or journal. As I say, it's so easy. PVA glue, old books or new books, bit of fabric or paper. It'll keep your mind off things. It's great for your well-being, these crafts. So I hope it's inspired you. I hope you can have a go at it. Leave a comment in the comment box if you've got any top tips for journaling or fabric covered notepads as well for others to read. And thanks for looking, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And I'll see you again soon with some more ideas. Thanks a lot. Bye now.